Happy Monday, everyone. It is April 27th, 2026, and the time is 6 p.m. We are here for our regular meeting. Madam Secretary, can you roll call for us?
Davis,
Here.
Jackson,
Here.
Kamal,
Here.
Kennard. Here. Laster,
Present.
Piles,
Present.
Rogers is present. We have a quorum. It is 6 o'clock.
Thank you so much. Can we stand for the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Be it resolved that the Board of Education accepts the April 27th, 2026 meeting agenda as amended to add the first reading of the March 2026 policy manual updates as provided by Miller Johnson. Also to add the report of the board subcommittees, an action item for the first reading of March 2026 policy manual updates as provided by Miller Johnson. And also under the the report of the Director of Operations under option D, to make sure that it is notated that the name under the motion is actually Flooring Services Incorporated instead of Sourcewell. It's been motioned by Laster, supported by Powles. Any discussion? Roll call. Yes.
Piles,
Yes.
Kamal,
Yes.
Jackson,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Kennard. Yes. Rogers is yes. Motion is approved.
Thank you so much. We are now at public comment.
None.
Seeing none, we are moving to the presentation portion. We have a virtual presentation from Great Schools Partnership Incorporated for a strategic plan presentation.
Hello, thank you for having us. Well, thank you. And thank you for having us. Thank you to Monica Kamal and Eve Camilleri and Mr. Dennison and the board for having us here. We're honored to be here with you. My name is Jose Bo. I'm here joined by my colleague Erica Wallstrom. I'm going to try to share my screen. Apologies if it doesn't come out right away, but it looks like it did. And it looks like I can't get the whole slideshow to come out. But in any event, thank you for having us here. My name is Jose Bo. I'm the Director of School Partnerships. I'm here joined by my partner. And I'm trying to change the slide. One second, my apologies. I'm gonna get this to you. Entire screen. Sorry, that wasn't it either. Well, my apologies. The slideshow right now is not working in my favor. I want to apologize. I'm not familiar with Google as much as I am with Zoom, but I think we could talk through the presentation we have today and not take too much of your time with the technology. So my apologies. My name is Jose Bo. I'm from Holyoke, Massachusetts, Director of School Partnerships. What I love about Holyoke are two things that are known worldwide. One is the birthplace of volleyball, and the other is I'm very proud that is the largest diaspora per capita of Puerto Ricans, of which I am a part of. And I'm here joined by my awesome colleague, Erica Wallstrom.
Hi, everyone. Thanks again for having us. My name is Erica Wallstrom. I'm a senior associate at Great Schools Partnership. I spent most of my teaching and educational career in Rutland, Vermont as a science teacher and an administrator. and then moved back to my home where I grew up in Maine, and I now have the opportunity to work with lots of different schools and learn just as much from all of you as well. So I'm really excited to get to know everybody. Thank you.
Well, thank you for that, Erica. If we had the slides up, we first thing that we like to lead with is our definition of educational equity. For us, that means ensuring just outcomes for each student, raising marginalized voices, and challenging the imbalance of power and privilege. Our strategic planning process has really four main buckets that we're going to talk about today, and maybe a fifth one in a phase two that Erica will delineate a little bit. But the first thing that we try to do, oh, thank you. Thank you for that. In the next slide, the first thing that we try to do is really lay the foundation. And here's like the big, and thank you for whoever put this up. I really appreciate this. It's helpful. In our strategic planning process, we really have these four nodes that we like to lean into: laying the foundation, seeking input, drafting, and then ultimately the strategic plan itself. The next slide, please. What we first like to do is lay the foundation, and here you'll see, a house being built. Um, Soon enough, we're gonna need electricians, we're gonna need, the plumbers, we're gonna need, um, all the other aspects of folks in the community to finish the portrait of the graduate or the strategic planning. My apologies. But first, we need a group of folks, a group of contractors, if you will, to meet together and become what's the strategic planning team. We imagine that team being between 12 and 15 folks, and we imagine there'll be dozens of other folks who want to be a part of it, and there will be room in committees. But first thing we like to do is get a sense of the community, and get a core team of folks really thinking about what are the first steps of this and how we're going to get a community input, which is our next slide. Thank you. Here you have some murals from Springfield, Massachusetts. Springfield's the second largest district in New England. We've been involved in Springfield for about 6, 7 years now. And when we first started, we really dug into the community to find out what are the things that the community wanted to see in their graduating students. And you'll see in a couple of slides, they came to a strategic plan. But what was beautiful about this is that you see all throughout the community, and this was an art contest that was put out, and you see some of the pillars of the strategic plan: thrive, persist, communicate, and these are all over the city. So when we do community outreach, we really like to think about who are your culture brokers. It's really hard to get 100 people, and you try to reach out to 100 people, but there's often that one or two people who can do that. Like, who are I like to call the abuelitas, who are the folks in the community that can get 100 people conversing with you. And I'd like to go into maybe some other folks haven't gone, like, we'll go everywhere in your community. We like to go to the churches, we'll go to the supermarkets. So we've teamed up with family and community engagement folks at supermarkets and sat there with them and asked these questions to try to get just tons and tons of data around some questions that we asked to try to just get, in Springfield, we ended up getting, 4,000 or 5,000 touch points of data. Then we had to whittle down and, get with a strategic planning team to draft what in Springfield they call the portrait of the graduate, but can sound like many other things in different communities. I'm going to pass it off to my colleague to talk about a little bit what happens once we get all this community input and get all that together. Erica.
All right, thank you, Jose. So as Jose mentioned, you can call this piece lots of different things: vision of a learner, portrait of a graduate. But really what we see this as is our big vision of what is it that we really hope and dream and want for our young people when they graduate, when they head out into our communities as young adults and are thinking about that piece. And so in that community feedback, in those sessions, we do focus groups and surveys, and there are a series of questions that often build off of one another. that will be designed by the strategic planning committee. They're often things like, what are your hopes and dreams for your young people? And those are the questions that we're asking students, we're asking teachers, we're asking the community members, we're asking families, parents, everyone that's in the community. And then what are the essential skills that you believe that you need in order to achieve those hopes and dreams? And those two questions in combination help us craft this, we'll call it a portrait of a graduate. And you develop pillars that will say, like, this is what we really believe and we value in our community. Now, I will say that I think oftentimes the problem with portraits of a graduate is if that's where we stop. If we reach out, we get all of this feedback from our community and from the different stakeholders in our community, and then it becomes a pretty document that sits on a wall and nobody kind of thinks about again until, 5 years from now. The power of this is when we pair it with our strategic plan. So it is the groundwork, it is that beginning piece that helps us be able to really dig in on what are the priorities of our community, what are the areas that we really want to make sure that all of our young people are experiencing, and so that that can be in our strategic plan. It's informed based on that community input. So where is it that we're going? And what is it that our community is prioritizing? That's the purpose of this step. And so then, based on that, we then go into the strategic planning piece. And there's a second set of questions that will be in the feedback that we collect from the community. And those second sections are, what is it that the district is already doing really well? And where are areas of growth? Where do we want to lean into? And so those second set of questions, coupled with the portrait of a graduate, help inform what are our pillars, what are the strategies we really want to lean into over the next 5 years to build a really robust learning opportunity for all of our students. Slide right here is just showing you a template that we use with the strategic planning committee to start drafting out the language that would go into one particular pillar. So this is not an entire strategic plan. This is an example of one piece. At the top, you can see the strategic plan pillar, which is guided by the feedback from the community as well as the portrait of a graduate. These are the belief statements on teaching and learning. So how do we make those pillars in our strategic plan? What is the role as educators that we play in making them become a reality? And that we establish in the strategic plan. I'm going to jump down to the white section where there's the strategies. Once you have that pillar, what are the things that we need to do in order to make that happen? This is at a bigger picture level. So I'll give you an example. I had a community, one of the pillars was real world relevance. So that's their big idea. When you dig into the strategy, one of the things that they wanted to do was to make sure that it was intentional in designing curriculum that consistently connected with their local environment, with their regional identities, pre-K through 12. So that's their big strategy that they want to have. They want to have it pre-K through 12, really community centered. The action steps are a little bit more detailed. They're not saying specifically what you're going to do, but what they're saying is that consistently there are connections to our local environments and our regional identity in curriculum that's happening at the classroom. And then the last piece that I think is really important and might be actually what helps your strategic plan really take root and to feel like it's been successful is how are we going to then measure our progress and our success? So what are those indicators that we're going to be looking for to know that we are achieving what our strategies and our action steps are that we've laid out? So for my example with the real world relevance, they talked about putting out a survey to the faculty. How many connections do you have with your community, with your curriculum? And then having another one a couple of years down the road to say, okay, we've increased that number. There are more curriculum opportunities where students are connecting with their community. So those are the pieces, and that's the drafting of this document, which is really what we think of as like the strategic planning process. That's the work that is done with the strategic planning committee. One other thing I will just add is there's lots of opportunity to have iterations where we will share it back with the community. There'll be additional surveys. So after each draft, we'll send it out and say, did we meet the mark? Does this fit with what you think? And then we take that feedback and we'll make iterations. So it's not just the committee that's creating that language, it's this community process throughout. This is where some districts will stop with us. They say, okay, thank you very much. We have our strategic plan. We know which direction we want to go and the steps that we need to take in order to move this forward. And we really appreciate that facilitation, that support. But I will say that we do also have many communities that will keep working with us after the strategic plan has been drafted. And that's really thinking about, okay, so what are the steps that need to happen? A strategic plan is a huge document. You have so many different goals. How do we prioritize which steps are going to come first? How do we determine which people are really important to have at the table to make sure that it happens? And so this table here is just one example of a document, but really it's about having the conversations with the people and supporting districts in implementing these big goals, these big visions, these big dreams that you have for improving your district over the next 5 years. I'll just end with that from our side and leave you with the question that we think is at the heart of all of this work and that we really value throughout. And that is like, what are your hopes and dreams for all of the young people in your community and for Romulus Community Schools? Because that's at the heart of the work that can sometimes feel tedious, but is so important and essential in getting a strategic plan that feels relevant and something that will really help move your district forward. So we'll open it up for if you have any questions for us, if there was anything that we missed, or yeah, anything else that we can answer for you.
Well, thank you, Jose and Erica, for your presentation. We appreciate you being here. Any of the board members have any questions?
I would. Hello, how are you? My name is Ben Edmondson, superintendent. Coming from Vermont and Maine, no, you were Maine and Vermont, and then the other one was Connecticut? No, was it Connecticut?
Massachusetts.
Oh, Mass, okay. What? Sorry, I'm from New Jersey. I'm from the East Coast. I was just like, which one was it? How do you see yourself? How would you be able to come here and be able to have us work on the strategic plan work? Are you thinking like a day, or is it 2 days and then you go back and then you fly back the next month? Just logistically, how does that work?
That's a great question that I think we would enter into conversation with, the amount of travel that would be necessary. We do understand, and we have done work all the way in Washington State and Reno. We're in North Carolina, so there is some travel involved. I think that would be the conversation that we would have if we were to move forward as to what that would look like. I think ideally what we would love to do is to build capacity. So I can imagine some, virtual community engagement is difficult, to say the least. I think that there would be some in-person community engagement that we would want to commit to, and some capacity building of your community to be able to hold these as well. Certainly, we've entered into some facilitation support or training, if you will. But I can see that there would be a mix of some travel on our part, some capacity building, and I would say some virtual, especially with some of the, I don't want to say tedious, Erica, you said tedious, but some, once we get to fleshing out some of the data and some of the those pieces, we can imagine some of those being virtual. But I think that would be a question. Erica,
I'll just add, I think that also to Jose's point, that balance of the in-person and the virtual is really about like what's happening. And so, coming to your community and meeting your strategic planning committee and really getting to know them and understand their roles and who they are and have that connection is important. But then you can have some of those committee meetings that I think could be run virtually. It's that foundation building, it's the developing of the questions, it's like brainstorming, how are we going to connect with our community and things like that. And so being very strategic, and we outline a progress monitoring. And so we as a committee could really say like, this is going to be important for my coach to be here. I feel like we need support. Some of those first focus groups when, you know, it's a big setup and you're helping the committee understand the process. But even when we are in person, we lean heavily on the committee. You know your community the best. We are just one person. We want to have small focus group conversations. So when you have big groups, you know, we did the whole faculty for a district. And so those committee members were essential and they were really running their own small focus groups. And I was just like gathering the information and putting that together. So it's like, it's a team effort. And so that can be the balance between in-person and virtual. Our team does that a lot in lots of different projects.
Okay, two more things for me, if I can, and then I'm good. Well, the first thing is for you to know you don't have to do too much travel. We're a community that's right at the major airport. The biggest one in Michigan is here, so we're right there. You wouldn't have to. Why is my mother calling me now? I mean, really, why is it?
Walk to
I'm
school.
just now.
Did you just send her the voice?
I did because I don't have a choice right now. I have to. I'm not. We'll be all right. So now I'm thrown off. So you wouldn't have to worry about that. That's just a flight here. We see the planes, Delta, all the time. So it's not like you're driving. You get here and then you got to drive 40 miles. That's not how that works.
That's Vermont.
Two things. I expected you to. I expect you to travel. My biggest concern, because it happened on the first one, is when we do. So I have two questions. The first one is, we already had a strategic plan that expires this year. Done a lot. We haven't done all of it, but we've done a lot. How do you take what has been done and try to move it forward? And that could be a side conversation. We don't have to spend all day on that one. And then the second one is, it's so arduous for the superintendent to be able, when you have a company that comes and says, here's the strategic plan, we did all this, and then they leave. And then it's on me and my team to do everything that we're doing on a daily basis. And now, boom, we have that too. That, I think, is the biggest struggle for me, is that I don't mind owning it, but I can't be the only one that owns it. And I'm not expecting you to own it. But when you're doing the strategic plan, there's got to be some groups that say, hey, we got this. It doesn't fall on a superintendent and his or her cabinet to try to figure out everything. And oh, by the way, we'll see you in a few years. Let us know how it goes. Good luck. So I'd like to know just those two things, and then I'm good. Then I get to my mom for a second.
I'll start, and then Jose, maybe you can tag in. But I appreciate that a lot, Ben. And it's true, we cannot lie on one person, and that is when a strategic plan is sort of like lost, right? You need to make sure that your whole school community, all of the district, at least understands and they know what role they're playing and the part that they're playing in order to really make it happen. I'll just go back. So like this particular slide right here, that planning, we start doing that at the end of the strategic planning part, once we've kind of come up with the strategic plan, where we'll meet with leadership, building leadership, and start to flesh out like, what does this actually mean? Who is taking the lead on each of these parts? Because again, it cannot just be the superintendent taking that lead. It also cannot just be the principals, right? So who are all of our educational leaders in this district that are really helping make this come alive? And do they know, right? Like, how are they bought in on that? And so I think that is really important in the process of building this strategic plan, that it is not just a small group that is talking about it in an isolation, but it is like an ongoing community conversation that the teachers are involved in, that the administrators are involved in, that the school board is involved in. And so they have ownership in those pieces. They understand why they are in place and hopefully why they're important to prioritize and move forward. And then the last thing I'll say is that when we have worked with districts after their strategic plan, so the following year, we really actually help design what would some of these subcommittees look like? How could we have a group that really thinks about real world relevance and digs in deeply and thinks about those priorities and thinks about the measurements and can come back and be reporting out, so that again, it's not just one particular person that's trying to meet all of these check the boxes, but that it's like a community-wide learning opportunity, growth opportunity, and really digging into the work that needs to be done to help move the district towards what the community is hoping for their young people. So that would be my answer to that second part. And then the first part is, I think it's an evaluation. This was our strategic plan 5 years ago. Where is it now? Are there pieces that maybe aren't relevant in, the world is changing quickly, and that's okay. We can let some things go. Are there things that we're still working on that we're excited about, right? Like, what are those places that we're doing really well and we want to keep building on? And that should be another pillar that continues on. It doesn't mean that once you have it, you don't keep prioritizing it and keep moving forward to the next step. What's our next learning edge that we want to build on? But that's part of that process. And so maybe thinking about, are there questions we'd want to incorporate? Here's what we did in our first 5. What things do we want to make sure we're moving forward and incorporating into our new strategic plan as well? Jose, I don't know if you have anything to add.
I would just say one thing. We were at the last meeting. Unfortunately, the power went out, but we were fortunate to hear your athletic director, and it got me really thinking about. And I think there was a conversation about volleyball or something like that, and the conversation about, well, we don't know if we have the next championship volleyball player. Like, why not? And I think what the strategic plan does, to answer your second question, is that we're not just looking to teach science anymore. We're looking for the next Artemis 3 astronaut. We have a Pulitzer Prize winner in one of your students, or 10 of your students. We have a Nobel Prize. We have Oscar winners. And I think in order to get that, you need the community. In Springfield, one of the pillars that came up was financial literacy. We needed the banks. We needed the insurance manager to come and be part of those conversations, because the community had elevated financial literacy as one of its pillars. So no, I don't. It really can't be one person. And we imagine this, if it's going to live the way we hope and think it will. It will involve an entire community effort, which will force multiply that's one person into arms of the community that sometimes we don't, as a school, we don't get the opportunity to reach out to, like the banker or the insurance manager. So I think that's what we try to do. We try to not make a one person. It's impossible. We understand that, and we try to create a team for you. And I want to create. I want to say, you already have it. It's already there. How can we support you to elevate it?
Thank you. Trustee Powell.
Hi, and thank you for your presentation. My question is, as you stated, and it's here in your Who We Are statement, that you specialize in transformational school and district coaching leading to educational equity, which you define as ensuring just outcomes for each student, raising marginalized voices, and challenging the imbalance of power and privilege. My question is how does Great Schools Partnership take educational equity from being a buzzword to actionable practices to measurable outcomes?
Yeah, that's a great question. One, I will say that we work within 3 large buckets of work. One is strategic planning, another one is teaching and learning, and the other one is culture and community. And as we defined our educational equity definition, I think one place I'll lean into, at least to answer your question, is with our restorative practices. Over the last few years, and I'm also an adjunct restorative practices professor at the University of St. Joseph in Connecticut. And Erica's a colleague of mine who often does a lot of restorative practices. And I think that's where we see that definition most played out. Just outcomes for each student, ensuring that marginalized voices and challenging the imbalance of power and privilege are I think shows itself most in our restorative practices when we do that as like a pure what am I trying to say, like a pure contract on restorative practice where we're working with students and the community. I think we would bring elements of that, especially when we're talking with the community in dialogue and in sharing power. So I think that's one of the places that when I talk about this definition, I point to our leaning in on restorative practices and our community engagement. I think could also be elevated as really leaning into this definition. I think I might have shared a document. I'm happy to, if not, one of our documents on family and community engagement really helps us think about how to share power. And in this strategic planning, that would whoever you decide to work with would come into play. And I think where we've been really successful is when people can say, "Oh, that's my line. That's my sentence. I'm the one who brought this up. I remember and people can see their words that they brought up in the document itself. Is how I would start to answer that question.
Thank you.
Can I add on just, sorry, I was just say, in addition to that too, as coaches, it is like my starting point for any conversation that I'm having is, how am I reaching all students? And I will say that as a teacher, I don't know if I always came with that lens. You have so many other pieces that you're thinking about. And so just reminding everyone that we're working with, right? Whether it's the committee or teachers or building leaders or maintenance department or anything like that, it's like all of these things each play a role in building that equitable opportunity for the students. Every single thing that we do in a district has a role in making educational accessible for all of our students. And so really owning that in every single role, I think is really important and valuable. And so just coming to the work with that lens and, it's words, but it's like we embody it and it's like our starting point, so.
Thank you so much. Any other questions? All right, well, we appreciate your time, and we will definitely be in contact. Thank you so much.
Thank you
Thank
for your time.
you. Have a good afternoon.
You too.
Bye.
Next, we have our presentation from Hanover Research for their strategic plan presentation. Hello.
Hi all, good to see you. Thanks for having us here. Alrighty, give you all a moment as we transition from one to the next. I know we're the third of three, so appreciate your time. So as introduction, I'm Jason Brotkin here from Hanover Research. I'm a senior director here on Hanover's K-12 team. I've been with Hanover for about 8 years now. Dr. Edmondson, I'm also a Northeastern native. I'm from New York originally. Hanover is located centrally in Arlington, Virginia, and we work extensively across Michigan. So it's exciting to get to speak with you all and the opportunity to support in terms of your strategic planning. I'll let my colleague Cassie Korick introduce herself as well. She's a K-12 research advisor on our team. So thanks, Cassie, for joining too.
Sure. Hello, everyone. My name is Cassie Quirk. I'm a K-12 research advisor here at Hanover. And so, yeah, excited to meet you all today and to talk through our strategic planning support process and how we use both research and capacity building through our advisory services to support you all with that work.
Thanks, Cassie. All right, so I'm going to share my screen here. Should come up with a slide that says strategic planning services. Everyone see that well?
Yes, we can see it.
All right, great. So we'll jump in. We'll spend a couple minutes first giving some background in terms of who we are here at Hanover, our support and work that we've done specifically there in Michigan, in addition to across the country. And from there, we'll talk a bit about our approach, how other districts have used us when it comes to strategic planning, what that looks like more specifically, and of course, leave some time to answer some questions from your end as we hope to get your feedback and your thoughts as we kind of incorporate into how we do the strategic planning work here. So I'll shift ahead and I can share a bit first about the work that we do and have done across Michigan. So I'll share this screen first. So as an overview and some background on Hanover, we are a custom education research, advisory, and strategic planning firm. We support now over 400 districts across the country. We've been working in the K-12 space for just about 20 years. And this screen here shows a kind of representative list of some of our Michigan members. That includes some folks nearby that we've supported with their strategic plans, including Monroe. We work closely with Hamtramck, Ferndale, Van Buren, Redford, so a lot of similarly sized local districts there, in addition to some of the ones you see here on screen. Our work has really spread across Michigan in a large part due to our close partnership with the Michigan Association of Superintendents and Administrators. So we work closely with them, are attending their conferences and working closely with their team as we help to support districts across the state. And we also have a longstanding close relationship with Wayne Risa. So you might have seen some of our reports and some of the pieces that we've done there locally in the region. So I'll share a bit more in terms of our expertise, kind of what makes us unique at Hanover, and from there we'll kind of dovetail that into how we support districts when it comes to their strategic plans, because that's a huge part of what we do. So these gears here help to show kind of the different pieces of our support and our expertise. We're really going to zero in on the two gears on the left. So that's our custom research services, our kind of bread and butter, in addition to our advisory services, which is a big part of how we do our strategic planning work. So the idea of Hanover and the work that we do with now over 400 districts across the country, so the custom research work and the advisory services really combine as we not only support with the background kind of data work, understanding what are we seeing from a district's data, progress towards a past strategic plan, of course, feedback from communities. We can hear all voices, and then marrying that with the advisory support. So that's really the hands-on support where we come in on site, work with the strategic planning committee through workshops and consultation sessions to really walk through the strategic planning process with them, incorporating the data, incorporating stakeholder voices, and then, of course, in terms of developing the actual plan. The other piece, and I kind of differentiator in terms of Hanover, as some districts, for some, this is a fit, for others, maybe less so. We really support end to end. So we see the kind of development of the strategic plan as one step in the process, and we can talk a bit more about how we support from there with implementation, supporting district leadership teams, then with action planning and progress monitoring. So we'll walk through those components in a bit more depth. So let me jump ahead, and Cassie, I want to tap you as we start to talk through a bit about our process, how we go about strategic planning, and specifically how it relates to those two components, the custom research work and what we call our advisory services. So Cassie, I'll kick it to you.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think this visual represents our process, but also know that everything we do is custom to you all. So in terms of like the actual specific plan, what we ideally would do is talk to you to figure out, where do you want to be and by when, right? So we can backwards map exactly how much time we have to accomplish this work and what pieces need to be done by Hanover in partnership with you, or what pieces you already have data for that we can kind of hit the ground running with. We always are going to start by looking at your vision, your mission and values, knowing that you already have a vision and mission. Like, what we'll do is want to know, do you want to keep what you have? Do you want to potentially refine what you have? And then we'll customize our next steps based on how you want to use what you already have developed. The two pieces on the side there you'll see that are coming out are the robust leadership and the continuous community feedback. So obviously, anytime we're working with a district to develop a strategic plan, a huge piece of that is going to be involving your community through surveys, focus groups, interviews, and also utilizing your community's data. So we want to be looking at quantitative data metrics related to student outcomes, teacher retention, the metrics that are most important for you all to track when it comes to those specific goals that align with that vision, mission, and values. On the other side, in terms of robust leadership, is going to be our team of advisors working with your leaders to build capacity to own this process moving forward. So we'll come on site, we'll conduct workshops, we'll be available for consultations. And so we're not just developing your plan for you, but we're teaching you how to do this work, because Once a plan is developed, we then want you all to feel empowered to access it, to use it, to progress monitor with it, for it to be a living document that you all can pull up in your day to day as opposed to something that sits on a shelf. And then also, depending on the timeline of your plan, whether it be 3 years, 5 years, whatever it may be, that then you all also have the capacity to navigate this process, on your own or with little support for the next iteration. As we then have developed your vision, your mission, your values through those pieces of community feedback with your data, we're then going to move into priorities, aims, and goals, and then setting very clear key performance indicators that allow you to measure progress toward those goals throughout each school year, and then annually, so you can continue to monitor and update your community on how you're doing, and we can support with that as well. I'll just note that, we were here for the previous presentation as well. And what, we're focused on is this strategic plan process. But like I said, it's custom to your needs. So should you feel like a priority is to develop that portrait of a graduate or profile of a graduate or something similar, kind of as a part of this work or before this work starts, that's something that we can build in and have done with other districts as well.
All right, Cassie, I'm going to jump ahead to this visual here, and we can walk through kind of typically how this process looks for districts. Again, like Cassie mentioned, it's flexible, one, in terms of a district's priorities. So for instance, as we worked with Monroe Public Schools, their superintendent, Andy Shaw, and their strategic planning committee, a big focus for them was really wanting to zero in on facilities and staffing, some operational components as related to their budget planning. In other cases, some districts, depending on the time of year, are wanting to do some of the feedback gathering a bit later on if the summer is a bit tricky. So a lot of these pieces we can kind of adjust as we work with your team, and it can be flexible not only in the scope, but also the sequence. So Cassie, maybe we can walk through a bit about not only the custom research projects, what that looks like, but also the interplay with the workshops.
Yep. So that first row you see on the top represents, you'll see it says custom research. That's what we call our research queue or research work stream. And that represents our mixed methodological approach to developing the strategic plan. So giving you the data that you need to inform that plan and also putting tools in place for progress monitoring of the plan moving forward. We often will start with putting out that communication to your entire community. So we can put together an infographic that says, we're going to be supporting you in developing the strategic plan. Here are the steps. Here's what you all can expect to engage in surveys or focus groups. And here's the data that we'll use. And then we'll move into a survey, maybe starting with just district leaders to hear from them on alignment with the plan. And then the broader community at whole. We would come on site to conduct focus groups for just deeper qualitative conversations and opportunities to hear from folks, and then move into some quantitative data analysis, and then eventually putting together that KPI progress monitoring dashboard. That could be an internal tool or something that you put out externally on your website or more for more transparency. And then alongside that research is that advisory work where we're coming on site, conducting those workshops, empowering your team to have the capacity to own that work, to define your mission, vision, and values, get your strategic plan, and then turn that plan into measurable action.
Thanks, Cassie. So I think we're going to land here and would love to pause and get your questions. Really appreciate you having us here and the opportunity to present, and we're excited about the possibility to work with you all. So would love to hear from here kind of what questions you have and maybe a bit more context as you all think about how this could best play in for you all.
Any questions from the board? None at this time. You guys can continue. Thank you.
All right, great. So one other component I wanted to highlight as we think about some of the work we've done with other nearby districts. So Cassie had mentioned differences when it comes to deliverables and what that kind of end product looks like. So in addition to, of course, the supporting with you all with the development of the actual strategic plan, one of our partners with Utica, of course, a bit larger than you all, but their focus for them and their team was the external communication. So not only wanting to engage folks in terms of getting their feedback on what should be our district's direction? Where do we want to see our community in the next 5 years? But also with each step, wanting to be able to communicate that out. So what is our data in year 2, year 3, year 4? And so what we helped them to do was develop not only data dashboards, but also communication infographics to really help to show on their website. We can even send you a link in terms of what that looks like to this day, and really supporting in those ways. In other cases, we can support internally when it comes to action planning, goal setting, and from there, how do we really operationalize the plan to incorporate it into every department, every building in terms of what they're doing day in and day out. And then lastly, Cassie, do you want to talk to, I guess, the additional, in addition to the on-site workshops, the additional kind of consultations, often monthly, though we don't typically quantify. So whenever folks are looking for additional support, what that looks like as we move from, I guess, the early stages of data collection into the development of the plan, and then from there, kind of operationalizing the plan itself.
Yeah, for sure. So we have the times that our team will come on site, and then there is no limit to the virtual consultations and the meetings. Monthly is there kind of just because that's about when most folks want to meet with us, but we're available as needed. The meetings typically happen around a few different points. So the planning of the project work that is happening in that top work stream, both to prepare for those projects and then also to debrief the findings and the analysis of those projects. And then the other piece is that advisory work. So planning those workshops, who will be in attendance, what is your team really looking for? Again, those are not like canned PD sessions. That's work that our team is customizing for you all. And so we'll send you all the deck and then give you a chance to review. And so we'll be kind of working typically with a smaller leadership group in those virtual consultations and then a broader group in those in-person workshops. So we kind of co-plan them with you.
All right, thanks, Cassie. All right, so the last piece I'm going to share here, a couple of kind of firsthand insights from some of our members that have worked with us on strategic planning. And I wanted to highlight just a couple of differentiators as you're considering us and other partners to see, in terms of what might be the best fit. So Hanover, number one, first and foremost, we are a research organization. That is really what grounds a lot of the advising and strategic planning work that we do. So we have over 200 K-12 research analysts on our team that are divided into different methodological expertise groups. So that includes our survey team. We have a qualitative research team, a quantitative research team. And so we pull in experts from our teams as we work with you all with each stage of that process. The other piece that I mentioned again is that kind of end-to-end type support. So we'll of course support in what we're talking about here with the development of that plan. And then as we work through, a focus for us is really how to make this actionable and support the team when it comes to really implementing the plan. And then from there, developing a dashboard and other types of tools to be able to monitor progress towards each of the goals that we will set kind of during the actual strategic planning process. So those are a couple of pieces I think that kind of really set what our approach looks like. And we'll pause here. I want to see your questions, kind of get your feedback. Happy to answer, help to clarify any pieces here. Here's what is what we've prepared, but we'd love to get your thoughts and questions here.
Hi, I just wanted to ask, I know every school district has their own needs and what they need for their strategic plan, but could you give an estimate or a number of how many times, let's just say for Ann Arbor or Plymouth, that your team would come on site to work with them on their strategic plan versus the virtual? Because I know you said that's unlimited.
Yeah, good question.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I can answer first. So typically with our strategic planning work, we typically bake in 2 to 3 on-site visits. So that includes either a half day or a full day workshop with the strategic planning committee. In addition to that, we often do focus groups, which is often another kind of on-site visit. So on average, it's 2 to 3. It really depends on district's preferences. We bake that into our strategic planning memberships. So, and then aside from that, often it's virtual consultations and check-in points as we not only do the research work, but also that those check-ins with the committee as they go through the progress of the plan.
Thank you.
Sure.
Hi, I have a question about how you work with leadership to build capacity. You talked about being on site for the strategic planning. Is that a separate offering that we would need, or is that included with the strategic planning? And how does that work? Because I know our superintendent, ultimately the board holds him responsible for the strategic plan. But in reality, he cannot, nor should he be trying to accomplish it. It's his leaders that need to be accountable and know their expectations. So could you just talk a little bit about how you work with leadership to build capacity and how that lends itself to accomplishing the goals set forth in the strategic plan?
Yeah, for sure. And also, when we kick off a partnership, we will have really candid conversations about like what everyone's capacity currently is. We have some districts who come to us and they say like, we have a really robust research team that we want to own the data analysis and survey work, but we need your help with developing the plan, defining our mission, vision, and values, and defining our KPIs and putting tools in place for progress monitoring. We have some who say like, we need everyone here focused on other things, and we need you all to take all of those pieces off of our plate. So we would definitely customize in terms of like lift. But ultimately the capacity building is also just about ownership. Like we cannot just and should not just make your strategic plan and say, here it is, right? We want you to be involved in the process. And so the capacity building is also a chance to have different tiers of voices included. The survey gives the entire district an opportunity to have their voices heard. Focus groups and interviews allow smaller chunks of people, maybe some who like didn't feel comfortable to share on the survey, or people who we really want to target for deeper qualitative insights and stories to be involved and share their perspectives. And then the workshops and consultations with advisory are another layer and opportunity for district leaders, community members to be involved and to feel invested in the strategic plan. Our team is still going to be very strategic in the guidance that we are offering, the steps that need to happen, and then providing, holding your hand through that process and backwards mapping from when your ideal end date or due date or finalization date of the strategic plan is to keep everyone on track. Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Any other questions from the board? Okay, did you guys have anything else for us?
No, that's it from us. What we can do, I don't know, maybe Dr. Edmondson, or I can send these slides over just in case you all don't have access. I know I had sent it over previously, but just to make sure. But looking forward to hearing from you all. Let us know what questions you have or anything across the coming week. If anyone had a question they didn't get to ask here, just let us know.
Well, Eve, definitely make sure we have color copies of your presentation. So we thank you, and we will be in contact.
All right, great. Thank you all.
Thank you.
All right, consent agenda. Be it resolved that the Board of Education approves the April 27th, 2026 consent agenda as presented. Matters listed under the consent agenda are considered routine in nature by the Board of Education and will be acted upon by one motion. There will be no separate discussion on these items if any member of the board or any citizen requests discussion of an item, that item will be removed from the consent agenda and will become the first item of business under the report of the superintendent portion. A, approval of the minutes of the Board of Education, April 13th, 2026 regular board meeting and April 13th, 2026 closed session.
All right, I was gonna say, don't everybody fight for it. It's been motioned by Rogers, supported by Kennard. Any discussion? Y'all was scared of that one.
It was like, it was looking for some other things on there.
All right, roll call.
Rogers is yes. Kennard. Piles.
Yes.
Jackson.
Yes.
Davis.
Yes.
Kamal.
Yes.
Laster.
Yes.
Motion is approved.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. We are now at the report of the superintendent, Dr. Edmondson, with the district update.
Thank you. Good evening to everyone. Shame on me. I was like, oh, I think we'll be out of here early today.
Yeah.
Oh, man,
Just keep it going.
I appreciate that.
Wait.
Yeah.
Can't.
If you want the information, I'm gonna give you the information. But let's go back to the norms. What is it? It does say, yeah, that's the 5 B's. That's the 5 B's. My favorite. But yeah, the 5 B's. They're perfect. Okay, just a few things. If we want to keep it brief, then we'll do what Trustee Kamal and Trustee Jackson have been doing, which has been meeting with me or calling me up and asking me about information so I don't have to get to the board meetings and have to regurgitate everything. So if we want to keep them brief, I encourage all board members, feel free to call me. Okay, we talk, what's Saturday? A Saturday? Just talking. I'm going to answer the phone. I promise you, I'll answer the phone. This job is 24/7, and I'm all right with that. So I'm just encouraging anyone that if you ever want information, you know I'm going to give it to you, and we can talk about that. Just a few things. I came in today so excited about just period. And I'll say that your relationships with students play a role with you emotionally. So today was, I mean, I guess it's a good day, but it's just disappointing. I mean, kids are going to be kids, and sometimes they make choices that will impact the rest of their life. And I'm just fortunate in this job that I get to meet students, talk to students, engage with students, know students' names. And I'll just tell our director of operations right there, Jason Perkins, it's an honor to work with you. And what we did today, tough for both of us, but it is what it is. Okay, so just appreciate working with you. I'm going to say that publicly for what we did this morning. And I think we're both emotionally tired from that. So a couple of things for the board. Birdies for Eagles. This year, the funds will go to our CTE program. Last year, we netted $60,000. I don't think we'll be able to do that this year because things cost more. But I believe I was with Mr. Perkins today too, and we walked into our culinary arts class. It was packed in there. And we asked the chef, would he be willing to be the ones, would they be the ones to cater? Would they like to cater our event? We think it makes sense to have our students cater our event. So we'll try to figure that out. We'll try to, we're able to pay students for some of the work because that's what we do over the summer. So pretty excited about that opportunity. Whether they take it or not, that's on them, but we gave it to them. We'd rather have our students do it than anyone else. So if you can make it out, that would be great. Come see our culinary program. I want to congratulate Samira Searcy. On Saturday, she signed with Jackson Community College to play basketball. It's a wonderful event that her parents put together, too, and our athletic director. Great event. Sometimes it's hard to get there on Saturday. I want to thank the president for reminding me because I did not remember. So it was nice to be able to go there and see. You know, it doesn't matter to me where students go. I tell them, just go somewhere. And I told her that she has to finish. It's not, listen, we can celebrate all we want. Just go in there. That's not enough. You need to finish, okay, and change your life. So just want to thank her and her family for doing an amazing job. For the board, May 1st, it's Friday, Quiz Bowl. Competition. Everybody knows me. I like competition. As I told the students that are in our Quiz Bowl, when you go against Dr. Edmondson, you know you're going to have a fight. Doesn't mean I'm going to win. But I'm coming to knock you out. So I'm very excited that we are competing against Huron, Belleville, and Summit. We're going against them. So it's the 34th District Court is hosting this event, and they gave us a study sheet. And I said to the kids, if you want to help me change the reputation of Romulus, then you get into that study guide and you work, because there's not going to be a question that you should know. It's a study guide. So I've worked with Janasia, I believe her last name's Ashford. I don't have it right in front of me, but I think that's it. Dorjalon Frost-Massey, Serenity Maharg, Jarrell Farley, the original and first Mr. Romulus, followed by the second Mr. Romulus, Xavier Yancey. Told the kids, just go and compete, okay? We had a discussion about pride. Are you proud of somebody just because, or are you proud of what they've done? And I said, I'm not proud of you just because you show up. That's not enough for me. I'm proud of you about how you work and you practice. If we lose, that's fine, but you practice and you let people know that Romulus is serious about our education and our students. So we work today again. I work with them and Dr. Harvell, and I'm coming back in the next 2 days again, talking to kids. This is all about government. And it's amazing how much government kids get exposed to, but don't know it. Just don't know it. What the Fifth Amendment is, okay? The right, you're not going to self-incriminate yourself. Well, that sounds crazy. It sounds redundant. But self-incrimination. Ask always, and I need to make sure I tell every one of our kids, and so should you. Every student, every kid needs to know you don't talk to folks without asking for an attorney, period. And I need to go to every school and tell kids that. Every school. You don't have the conversation until you ask for an attorney. And there's nothing anybody can do except stop an interview when you ask for it. And I'm pretty fired up about that. I'll leave that alone. But our kids need to know that. Quiz Bowl, Friday. I'm excited. Congratulations to our middle school. We had at a medallion ceremony, I believe it was 220 kids, 220-ish. We got that number because some things changed, though. The qualifications kind of came down on some of the things. So I felt good, but we reduced what you needed. And so I think that we should do the opposite, not reduce. But still, congratulations to 220 kids. Some of them have never had that experience. So good for them, but they need to know quickly they're going to change again. We are still restructuring the middle school. I'm going to start tomorrow. Specifically with a group of teachers that express interest in changing the culture and climate of the middle school. They are not in charge of the actual classes offered, but just programming and how we're going to make some changes over there. I see Ms. Wank here, who is the department head for mathematics at the middle school. She's here, and she's part of that restructuring tomorrow. I want to thank look at her back there. Look at her. Dr. Shammy back there has been working really hard on this, too, and I'm going to take a document that she gave me and talk to the staff about that. Got to be in the kid business. We've got to be in the kid business. It's great that you have great pedagogy. Good for you. That's important. But we have to be in the kid business. You got to help self-esteem, set expectations for their behavior, too, and get on them when they're not doing right and praise them when they're doing right. So we'll be doing that tomorrow and Wednesday, so me with those, it's probably about 8 people. Dr. Shammy will be there. You're more than welcome to come, 3:15 to 5 o'clock. We are also restructuring the TLP with Dr. Shammy. She's tired. I can tell you that. She's tired. Okay, she's been running around this district on behalf of our students and staff, and she needs a team, and I keep saying that, and that's got to be first priority is to get our TLP team right, and that it needs to make sense. So that'll be coming soon. That will be coming to you. Talk to you about some of the changes in our instructional practices. Back to the Quiz Bowl, which relates to the visits to the 5th grade. If you're a 5th grade student, what grade is she in? She's in the 5th grade. So she should be able to answer the questions. I go to schools and I talk to kids about the 3 branches of government, what they are, who they represent, things like that. I also say to 5th graders that if they don't know how to multiply, we have a big problem. You should not be going into middle school and you still are doing this, multiple. And we do have some students like that. It also kind of coordinates or aligns with not coming to school. So I put on here, what are we going to do as a school board with the 20% of the kids or more that miss 20 absences, that have 20 absences? I do the math on that. How can you hold a job? If this is what you're doing now, how can you hold a job? And nobody held you accountable for it. We have a serious problem in this district. We have a serious problem in this state. Just take a look. I can give you an article on it. We have a serious problem in the state of Michigan and in this district that the number of kids that don't come to school. And then they're going to live in somebody's community, right? Think about that. When we're doing a strategic plan, they're going to live in somebody's community. How can that happen? 20% of the students are missing at least 20 days of school. Again, that's a whole month. So you're still doing this when we're asking you to multiply. When I ask you the 3 branches of government, no clue. No clue. No clue. I'm not dogging folks. It just is. It's a serious problem that we're asking teachers to figure out a problem, solve it. How are they going to solve that? They can't solve it. We've got to have active parents, not only in this community, in every community. And a lot of them aren't. Put a cell phone in the kid's hand, you think you're doing something, you're not. You're not. So that brings me to the next thing, cell phone policy. We better be ready here because it's going to come. I mean, parents are going to be so mad at us because their child comes into the school with the cell phone. We have a board policy, don't care. You're not going to touch my phone. Oh, we'll see about that. You believe in me, don't you, boss? You know I'm not playing that. I'm going to take that phone. But we have a serious problem, not just in this district. I think I need to say that to make everybody feel good. But we have a problem in the society, too. But I'm telling you, we're going to hit that cell phone policy hard. And the important thing for me is that I hold staff accountable. Your policies, our policies, are only effective as the people that are going to enforce them. They're not enforced, it's like not even having it. And that's the adults. So we have to set the tone and making sure that all parents know about the policy. I will work on that. There's only so much that I can do, but they know it's coming. They've got to. Not just here, everywhere. There's going to be a cell phone policy. Last couple, and then I will let you leave. Softball, I'll let you leave after, you know. Congratulations to our high school, our softball and baseball team winning. We should be clapping for the coaches. And I try to remember Winkles, Phillips at the softball, Brian Whitfield, Patterson, Tom Patterson, and Keith Brothers at the high school. That's good. That's huge for us. Okay, and as I said to our athletic director, I didn't know that all of our sports coaches have been changed out, okay, for various reasons. It is what it is. It is what it is. Stop talking about Romulus 20 years ago. Let's talk about Romulus now. Come on, can't we have a future for our community now? Stop going back to 20 years ago. 20 years ago. So now we have baseball and softball. Congratulations to them. Without a doubt. You already know. Yeah, slow down with the winning. We won, okay? Keep the let's keep the temperature right here. State of the schools, thank you for those who showed up. It was the state of the district, state of the city by the mayor, and the state of the schools is on there. The one thing that I said, and I'm going to say it, I will say this publicly, that I said to the mayor, we've got to stop telling people no new taxes. We've got to stop saying that. We can't pass a bond when you tell folks that that's not his fault. If you want to invest in your community, you're going to have to. And then when people complain about their taxes going up, are they complaining to you that the taxes have gone down? Because they've gone down. When you pay off your bonds, they go down. So they've been going down. They're going down. Okay, nobody says anything. But the minute that we ask for something, But as I said to the mayor and his attorney, when you live in a city, it's all right. I'm all right paying taxes in my city. I'm all right. I need to invest in my schools because I know my schools equate to my property value. We've got to understand that. If you don't invest in your school district, it's going to go away. Oh, don't worry about it. It's going to happen. It's going to happen slowly and gradually, but it's going to happen. Like that, slowly and gradually, but it's going to go. So we've got to get out there and tell people it's all right to pay taxes, okay? Look at some of our parking lots, as you know, as I said at the State of the Schools. We've been able to do some things because we have a sinking fund that has been really helpful. We have a director of operations who's experienced and knows what he's doing to direct us. That's why we're able to do that. Otherwise, we wouldn't have a bond. We wouldn't have a sinking fund. What do we have? And then everybody's going to run away from Romulus and say, "Oh, Romulus is ghetto. It's this, it's that." Well, if you don't invest in your district, what do you think's going to happen? I don't know what to tell you, but that's what's going to happen, okay? And yes, I am the same person I was 5 years ago, if anybody asks. I have not changed through all the stuff that happened. I've not changed. I'm passionate about what I'm talking about and what we're trying to do here. We've got to get our parents involved and engaged in the school district, and they're not. Three more things. Thank you to President Laster for joining us on a Soup Scoop the other last week. I appreciate that. Obviously, there's more work that I need to do to get better, so thank you for stating that and letting everybody know that. I appreciate that.
Ask your bosses. Let me pause you. If I would have given him an A, we wouldn't hear the end of it.
What?
He tripping over a B minus.
B minus? A B minus?
Continue. Sorry. It was a pleasure to join you.
Are you the treasurer? You treasurer, Kennard? Are you okay with a B minus? Okay, I'll make it. So when we're flying, do you want the pilot that got the B minus? I'm just asking. Anybody that flies, would you like that? Do you want the B minus bus driver? I don't think I want the B minus bus driver. Do you want the B minus teacher? I'm just asking. Somebody stop me. Do you want the B minus preacher? You want the B minus preacher? He's not going to ask you to tithe. Don't worry about it. So you probably be all right to B minus. But there's work to be done, and I thank
We
you.
roll the footage back. I said, because I'm not giving you a B plus because you can't have the same grade that I gave myself. So roll
Wait,
the
you
tape
gave
back.
yourself a B plus?
I did.
But gave me a B minus. Okay, all right, I got you. Listen, I'm going to work hard because Trustee Piles is going to remind us that my evaluation is due and some other things. So I'll take the B minus because maybe we didn't have our mid-year review. Maybe that's why I have a B minus. Mr. Piles, a B, what? Okay, let's move on. I'm gonna move on. Last but not least, two things. Right sizing is happening across the district. Do you know what that means? Because I have to explain it to everybody. Right sizing, when you have more staff than you have students. So we've got to fix it. It's going to happen. It's more of a collaborative effort, but we do. If you want to blame me, blame me. It's been historical, but I'll take the blame, but it's going to be fixed.
What area do you have?
Every area, and it's not just it's not just.
Or in every area, or are you focusing, you know?
The answer is yes.
Okay.
We're looking at everything. You're right. Yeah, we're looking at everything. It's simple. If you have a certain amount of kids, divide them by what's in the contract.
Yeah.
Contractually, and you'll get a number. Nobody wants to have their classes filled to capacity, but you don't want them way under capacity. So it's a tough thing. But every district, I can tell you, in the state of Michigan, in particular, is doing this because they don't have a choice. Okay. I don't know if y'all saw today, but I did. The price of gas went up again.
Ridiculous.
Again. But I understand. Okay.
Dr.
Now I'm going to
Edmondson,
finish.
To that, though, will people be notified by April 30th? Does that
Look
apply?
at you. But the contract doesn't say that, but that's okay. Okay, we're trying to do things
But
in a
can we-
timely.
Yeah, can we give that notice and then avoid any problems?
There's no problems.
Okay.
Promise you, there's no problems.
Okay.
Okay, there's no problems. Mr. Brock, am I wrong? Okay, we know. And we've talked to the teachers union, so,
Come say that on the mic.
yeah, he can say it. Oh, he could.
No problem.
Would you like to say that?
There's no problems. Okay,
Yeah,
thank
we
you.
know. Listen, I'm not going to get up here and say the wrong stuff. I'm not going to do that. And last but not least, I'm going to challenge each of our board members with me because I'm going to do it with my cabinet, but I wanted to start with you first because my cabinet will meet on Wednesday. We postponed. I'd like these, okay, just 4 of them. These are just notes, okay? It's just note cards. There's nothing in them. I would like you to find, or if you need help from me, 4 students. In 1 month, can you send 4 out just to tell kids that they matter by name?
Yep.
By name, that they matter, okay? Or whatever you'd like to say. I'm going to challenge each of you. We will pay for the postage. I have no problem doing that. Please do it. I'm trying to get other people to understand when you get a note from somebody that is handwritten, it doesn't matter who you are. You feel some kind of way that somebody took the time to send you something because they care.
Yeah.
I don't want Chat GPT, none of that. Email, handwrite it. And just 4. That's all I'm asking you, just 4. But we have to coordinate to make sure we don't all do the same person.
Yeah.
Okay, because there's a chance. If you want to tell me what grade, you want to tell me what you, okay, I will work that out. But it makes a difference. I'm trying to do things that are different. I think teachers need to do that. I was talking to our athletic director. If you know 8th graders are going to high school, what are we doing to get them? They're going to leave. Send them something. Say that you care. Maybe you care that they play sport. I don't care what it is. People feel good when you have recognized them and recognized what they're doing. Maybe they've improved with attendance. It doesn't matter. That's all I'm going to ask you to do. I will have Eve get you 4 cards. If you want to choose whatever you want. You want names? I could ask principals to do it. That's better because I don't know most of the kids, not even close. But I think it'll make just a difference. And if they don't come to around, I'm all right with that. What I care about is that kids feel good that their school system, that somebody, the Board of Education, they don't even know who you are. But thanks for the letter.
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask you to do that, and I will match you. I'll do 8. You do 4, I'll do 8. But this is my job. I thought about doing this every single day. I said, if I do this every single day, then 365, kids are going to get a card from A to Z, from start to finish. So I have some goals, and I'd like to do that. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it. I like my superintendent updates. Thank you.
I'm
All
sorry,
right,
Dr.
B minus.
I have a couple questions. The Quiz Bowl, what time is that?
I believe, I mean, I'll get you the exact one. I want to say that it's at the court. Okay, I want to say it's at the court. I'll get you the time. I don't know what time.
And then you had talked about the meeting for talking about the middle school
3:15
at
tomorrow.
3:15. What day? Oh, tomorrow?
Tomorrow and Wednesday.
Okay.
I'm providing sodas and snacks. That's it. Got it?
Thank
no,
you so
no
much, Dr.
pizzas,
Edmondson.
That's
no
here?
Jimmy John's. No, it's at the middle school.
Okay.
Media Center. Thank you so much. I'll work on
problem.
that, getting that B minus up.
I don't think a B minus is bad.
That's the problem.
Listen, a C
That's
and a
that's
C is
that's
what-
the problem. Thank you. I don't want to pilot. That's a B minus.
All right, we are at the report of the Director of Teaching, Learning, and Professional Development, Dr. Tara Shammy, with an action item, Romulus High School senior trip to Cedar Point.
Recommended motion. Move that the Board of Education approves the Romulus High School senior class trip to Cedar Point in Sandusky, Ohio, May 13th, 2026. Rationale, this senior class trip offers a finishing a stress-free bonding experience, allowing students to celebrate
C
Look,
plus.
my-
That's a C plus.
celebrate together while fostering class camaraderie through shared thrill-seeking memories. It balances fun, safe environment with potential educational applications in physics and engineering, serving as a memorable, deserved reward after years of schooling. Budget implications is the class of 2026 fund, and exhibits are the field trip request, which is attached. Support.
It's been motioned by Rogers, supported by Kennard. Any discussion?
Absolutely.
Okay, no.
Oh, absolutely, because I don't know. So it said, read that last part, that they deserved, something like that, right? No, what's it say?
The last sentence
Yeah.
says, it balances a fun, safe environment with potential educational applications in physics and engineering, serving as a memorable, deserved reward after years of schooling.
So I'd like the board to start thinking about this, not now. So we just give kids, you just give it to them? They deserved it because what? If I'm sitting here talking about 20% of the kids are absent, we don't put anything on there, there's no restriction, you don't have to come to school. You can get a 1.3 and graduate. You deserve that reward because you came with a 1.3? How's that help our school? All I want you to do is start thinking about this for the future. It just can't be. You're our valedictorian. You deserved it. Yeah, oh, absolutely. But my question is, and I don't know, I don't have the answer. Is that what we're going to do? Just reward kids just for coming? I don't think so.
Some kids struggle academically, though.
You know what? That's okay if you struggle academically. Then you better have attendance right, your attitude. There's other things.
Okay.
I don't mind that. It's not just about GPA. Okay, but there's got to be some criteria to me.
Is the district paying for this, or did the students fundraise?
That says,
The
That's it.
class
That's his
of
class of-
2026.
Okay.
So that would be their fundraising account, whatever money.
So then what they're getting is a day off school.
Right, and they don't come anyway.
based
so
on
you said-
physics and all that, I mean,
And culinary
Sounds
arts.
like
'cause
school
the
to me, doesn't it?
Culinary arts, the elite snack.
all I'm just saying to the board, I'm not saying to turn this down, not at all, I would not say that. But I think that we need to have a conversation. What do you want Romulus to be? What do I want? I don't want Romulus to be just a place where kids, oh, we giving you something?
No, well,
What?
I assumed, because, you know, in the past and how,
Don't assume.
going back, I'm gonna assume, because this is how I viewed it when I voted for this, is that the administration, which is the teacher, okay, with the administrator, well, they had criteria that they were, so I'm putting it back on you, okay? The criteria for students to be able to attend these trips. Okay, so whatever they have those types of, that's what they're supposed to do at the administration level. I'm assuming, and that's what I thought, whenever I'm voting for something like this, that those are the practices that has been taken in place. So they know the students.
Right, if you're a behavior, is your
Yeah.
mom coming as a
Have
chaperone,
all
or
the
you can't
tracks
go?
on 'em.
And they're not all going, there's only 56.
Mm-hmm.
And what's our graduating class?
98 maybe?
Not-
One
what'd
oh
you say?
six?
Seven.
It's like
We don't have
98
a
or
count
106,
now.
says something
Yeah.
like
So
that.
we don't have a count now.
But yeah,
Listen,
but-
it's
but
just for
that's a good
discussion, like,
point. Yeah,
it's
we
for
hear- we
discussion.
hear you.
Because I haven't addressed that. When I hear it, I'm like, this can't, listen, we need to raise the standards here, okay? We need to raise the standards for
Got
all.
somebody who doesn't meet the standards, then they shouldn't be going to.
And I would agree, I
May-
would
and
agree,
maybe
and I'm
they're not.
saying,
That's how I've always
you want to change some things, you got to raise the standard and make kids, they've got to reach for it. Can't be
Like
you
if you got
just
a
show
B
up
minus, you
and
need to
you
be in
get a
school.
Cedar Point trip. No. What's your attitude? What's your behavior? What's your grades? What's your attendance?
If they're not
Right.
graduating, then no.
Oh, I mean, if they're not graduating, I hope not.
I have a question. The
get a grant for
adult
physics, so.
chaperones, do we know, are they paying for their tickets or is the class paying for them?
Now, I mean, I would hope that they don't have to pay for their own, right, to deal with some kid, right? You gonna make me pay to hang out with your kid? Nah, I'm good.
They don't hang out with them.
Yeah.
They meet up
I
when
would
it's
hope
time
that
to
they
go.
don't, seriously, I would hope that they don't pay. I wouldn't expect a staff member who's going and then they're coming back at 7 PM or 8
Oh, not
PM.
7.
They
No,
bad
not the
about it.
staff.
I just got, I won't say voluntold, but I'm going to Cedar Point with 8th graders on, not Romulus, before we get to going, not Romulus, but yeah, they're paying for my ticket.
Exactly, and that's what it should be. As a teacher, you don't, come on now, that's what you do.
I know we've gone back and forth here, that's why I asked if,
I would hope not. I mean, I'm not gonna, I would never make a teacher pay to go on a trip.
Traditionally,
I mean it.
I
I'm
don't
sorry
know-
about
yeah, I don't-
kids.
I
I
don't-
know
I don't
you'd be
think
like,
we
well,
make
but the kids
teachers-
have to pay. Yeah, they do.
traditionally, the volunteer or the chaperone did not pay. It's depending on, say for instance, if they're going out of state.
You
or
paying,
something,
Miss
or
Wank?
something-
You paying?
something different.
We tell you you're going to Cedar Point, but you have to pay.
But their trustee policy is correct because there was the back and forth. When it was
was,
that
yeah.
other field trip, it was like, well, are we paying, are we not? But they're
right.
taking their
And it's-
time
And it's not just the adults paying. I think the issue was the kids coming up with more money to pay for adults.
I think the comment was
But if-
off
if
the
they-
backs of
If they
students.
fundraise it, raised it, that's different. But yeah, it was like kids who couldn't go because they couldn't afford themselves, and then the ones who did go were covering adults. So that was our conversation.
And then to the registration and all that, that was incorporated in those discussions as well. Who, it depends.
Yeah.
But I think it's okay for a board to have the conversation about what the criteria is. I do think that. I mean, I appreciate that you put it on me, but I think that, what do we want?
Dr. Shammy.
Right. What do we want? What do we want? I would want some information from the board. Yes, it is our decision, but I'd like to know because I need to feel supported when I do put it out there and they come in for me, that I have the support of our board to say, listen, okay, when we have trips now, let's put some attendance on them. We're struggling with 20%. Let's put some attendance on some things. You can go, we'll let you go. If your attendance meets what we expect, I think all teachers would support that too.
But then it's tough because sometimes you don't make the quota for what the trip, you know what I'm saying? And then you take away
yeah.
all of those students,
They have to
the
come up with
students
a
can't
plan.
go.
They have to have a backup plan.
I understand. I do understand
I'm
it, but I'm
just
like,
looking at it
and
from-
do you want to change the culture or not? We can try to change the culture. And we need to change some of the culture here. Okay? And I think it's some of the things that we do to say, we're not going to allow that. I'm sorry. Maybe next year you'll get you'll start
Those who are
attending
worthy
school.
should go.
Well, I'll leave and go to another. Okay, you'll probably be back, but okay. That's okay. But I am dead set on things need to change. It just it just got to be better. That's all.
Okay,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
So are we changing the motion to add, okay.
No.
It's just it's a point for the next time. Next year, this time, we'll talk about it.
I would never at this point say,
was just
I would never say at this point, oh, no, don't let them go. But I want us to have this conversation so that when the next year starts, the criteria is there and everybody knows, you go on a trip, you got to come to school, period.
Okay, thank you. Rogers is yes. Kennard,
Yes.
Jackson. Yes. Laster,
Yes.
Davis.
Yes.
Piles,
Yes.
Kamal.
Yes.
Motion is approved.
Thank you so much. We are now at the report of the Director of Operations, Mr. Jason Perkins. He has 4 action items.
Slip in there. He was waiting for the great. He was like, who? He's looking around like, Mr. Jason Perkins.
All right,
Just here in case anyone has any questions.
All right.
bid award recommendation. Recommended motion move that the Board of Education award parking lot improvement bid package A to Best Asphalt for $934,873.05 with a 10% contingency. Rationale, the parking lots require repair due to deterioration and safety concerns. The district has solicited and reviewed multiple bids from qualified contractors based on cost, scope, experience, and project timeline. It is in the best interest of the school district to ensure a safe and properly maintained parking facility. Budget implications is sinking funds, and the presentation was exhibited last week.
Support.
It's been motion by Rogers, supported by Kennard. Any discussion? Roll call.
Rogers, yes. Kennard,
Yes.
Kamal,
Yes.
Jackson. Yes. Davis.
Yes.
Piles,
Yes.
Laster.
Yes.
Motion is approved.
Thank you.
Recommended motion, move that the Board of Education award the parking lot improvement bid B for Nagel paving for $558,663.90 with a 10% contingency. The rationale, the parking lots require repair due to deterioration and safety concerns. The district has solicited and reviewed multiple bids from qualified contractors based on the cost, scope, experience, and project timeline. It is the best interest of the school district to ensure a safe and properly maintained parking facility. The budget applications is the Seeking Fund, and the board has in their exhibit presentation.
Support.
It's been motion by Kennard, supported by Rogers. Any discussion?
I have a question.
Yes.
I'm just wondering the reason for going with two different companies as opposed to one.
Sure, yeah. I explained it in my presentation last week. I think you may have missed it, but it was basically due to permitting that we had to do two separate bid packages for permitting at the high school that was different. And when we did that, we just happened to find that the contractors were a little bit lower, so it ended up with two different contractors is the way that we're getting the best deal. Yeah, of course.
Roll call.
Kennard,
Yes.
Rogers is yes. Davis,
Yes.
Jackson. Yes. Laster,
Yes.
Piles,
Yes.
Kamal.
Yes.
Motion is approved.
Madam President and Board, recommended motion, bid award recommendation, move that the Board of Education purchase two buses from Midwest Transit for $320,439. The rationale, purchase school buses allows the district to ensure safe, reliable, and equitable transportation while maintaining full control over operations, scheduling, and maintenance. Although the upfront cost is significant, owning a fleet can be more cost-effective over time than contracting services and provides greater flexibility for route changes and student activities. Importantly, investing in buses on a planned replacement cycle prevents the entire fleet from aging out at the same time, which would create an unsustainable large one-time expense. Instead, staggered purchases spread costs more predictably and keep vehicles modern, safe, and compliant. And the board have implications is the sinking fund, and the board has estimated from Midwest Transit as part of the packet exhibits.
Support.
It's been motion by Kennard, supported by Rogers. Any discussion?
Yes. I just want to tell the board that our transportation directors personally came up to me and said, thank you so much for having an updated fleet, because they do work with other places, and you get to see that they don't. So I just want to thank you and commend the great Jason Perkins on the work that he does in helping ensure that our buses stay current. So thank you.
Roll call.
Kennard,
Yes.
Rogers is yes. Piles,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Jackson. Kamal,
Yes.
Laster.
Yes.
Motion is approved.
Thank you.
Madam President and Board, bid award recommendation, move that the Board of Education approve the installation of new classroom flooring for 8 classrooms at the middle school for $50,390 with a 10% contingency under the Flooring Service, Inc. The rationale, the replacement of classroom flooring on the first floor of the middle school is necessary to ensure a safe, consistent, and high-quality learning environment for all students and staff. The current flooring has experienced significant wear and no longer meets the durability, cleanliness, and aesthetic standards achieved on the second floor. Upgrading the first floor classrooms would not only improve safety and ease of maintenance, but also create equity across the building by providing all students with the same modern, comfortable, and visible cohesive learning spaces as those on the second floor. Budget implications is a sinking fund, and then in the board packet exhibits is the information from Flooring Service, Inc.
Support.
It's been motioned by Kennard, supported by Rogers. Any discussion?
Yeah, I just wanna know, it says furniture removal, say by others, is that our personal custodian or somebody else coming?
Correct, that'd be my team, yes.
And I just want to make it known that the agenda will be updated to just make sure that Flooring Services Incorporated is mentioned on D for transparency and just that we have the correct information up there.
Thank you.
Roll call.
Kennard.
Yes.
Rogers is yes. Darcel. I'm sorry, Davis.
Yes.
Jackson. Piles.
Yes.
Laster.
Yes.
Rogers is just, come on.
Yes.
Okay, the motion is approved. I'm sorry, Vice President.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Board of Education. I'm excited about the improvements for Romulus schools.
And that was the great Jason Perkins with a sweep of action items.
All right. We gotta add on the,
He definitely an A. Clock it. All right, we are now at the report of board subcommittees, and we do have an action item underneath there.
First reading of the March 2026 policy manual updates as provided by Miller Johnson. Recommended motion, move that the Board of Education approves the first reading of the March 2026 policy manual updates as provided by Miller Johnson. The rationale, continuous policy update is needed for legal compliance to mitigate risk and align with the district's practices with current federal and state laws. School district attorneys are specialized counsel, review policies to prevent costly litigation, address new legislation, and protect the district from liability. Budget implication is none. Exhibit is the proposed policy update.
It's been motioned by Rogers, supported by Davis. Any discussion? Roll call.
Rogers is yes. Davis.
Yes.
Piles.
Yes.
Kamal.
Yes.
Jackson.
Yes.
Kennard.
Yes.
Laster.
Yes.
Motion is approved.
Thank you. Any other reports from board subcommittees?
Madam President, I have a question. Are we going to vote on the company that we're going to go with for strategic planning day? Okay. No, I know. I'm saying.
No, just taking in information and then we'll circle back.
Okay.
Oh, we good? Subcommittees? All right. Thank you, everybody, for coming. I want to thank Ms. Tanya and Mr. David for filling in and being a part of the village. I also attended Samira's signing. Congratulations to her. Like Dr. Edmondson said, we just want to see her finish strong. And I called her family like the first family of Romulus because they just 3 student athletes through our district. You always see her parents present, and her mom spoke to Romulus as a community and the support that their family has received. So it was just good to see the showing and just to see her go on and do great things and not just be in the shadow of her brothers, like making her own path. So it was exciting to be there. May is an exciting month coming up. Prom, graduation. You come into prom, Darcel? The 21st. Okay, check the Palm Pilot. All right. I want to thank the team because on the 30th, which is Thursday, we have Trustee Jackson, who is a Level 1 certified board member. Whoop, whoop. Vice President Davis and Trustee Kamal, Level 1 certified board members and Award of Merit recipients. Secretary Rogers earning a Level 5 Master Diamond Award. Okay. And then last but not least, I mean, we can't sleep on I knew you were a President's Award recipient, Trustee Powles, but when you start taking the classes to see what actually, okay, you're the President Award recipient, but when you look at what you have to do, complete all levels 1 through 6, a total of 29 advanced classes, 200 to 300 level classes, and a minimum, which is hard to do, 1,383 educational credits. Now that gets people stuck, because I'm stuck at a level because I can't even get to the, so to do that, we just want to commend you again on your hard work. That's a prestigious honor. It's hard to reach. I mean, we set the bar high. There is a president's board. So if all of us got the president's
could all
award,
get- yeah.
we can do it. I mean, to have a team that is about personal development, training, and all of that, I feel like, I mean, we put the goal up there, we can accomplish it, because a lot of people probably didn't think we could be an honors board.
And
So,
this is the first time, I think I said this to you guys, this is the first time since I've sat on the board, since 2017, that we've been an honor board.
yeah.
So that's been, because there's turnover, and sometimes people don't do the classes for that basic level, but yeah, I mean, and it is, the educational credits are very difficult to get,
They are.
both time-wise and find, but, y'all know I'm resourceful, so if anybody needs any, I share it freely. I've shared it with board members across the state who've gone on and received their presidential level award. So anybody who needs help with educational credits, please reach out to me. I would love to help
Yeah,
more of us get that to that level.
for sure. Thank you so much. So definitely we can
Congratulations.
put that as a goal and try to work for it, or at least if we don't get that, there are other levels before that. So just want to commend the team. On the 30th, you guys will be receiving your awards at the dinner. So thank you. What else do I have? Let me do my Dr. Emerson. Dang, I'm doing the and I don't know where I'm at. I just wrote so much stuff. That's why I gave myself a B+. I'm not perfect.
But gave me a B minus.
Listen, Dr. Emerson, at
so
the
much
end
for
of the
servant
day,
leadership. That's not
your
servant
your evaluation speaks for itself. So I can say all that you have, like I said, 6 other bosses, and you know, you've done very well since you've come back. I said in the podcast, you didn't come back as a bitter baby daddy or a bitter spouse. You've come back and done great things in the district.
I just can't.
What? I'm serious. Okay. I'll keep it brief because we are at the 7:37 mark. I want to thank everybody for coming out and appreciate just you being here on a Monday. We'll take it to the board. We'll start with Trustee Kamal, Treasurer Kennard.
Nothing at this time, but I concur to everything that you've said today.
Yes, bitter baby
Except the
daddy.
B minus.
No, she said.
No,
she
she
agreed.
didn't. There's no
definitely
way.
agreed.
There's no way she did agree in the
She
B
shimmied
minus.
her shoulders
No,
and
we're
she
not.
agreed.
We're not doing the B minus now. We're
Madam
not.
Secretary.
I just want to thank everybody for coming out. Our 2 presenters that were virtual presenting their information. It's good to kind of like hear some things from out-of-state vendors and whatnot and see how they would, work with us here. But thanks to everyone that came out, and congratulations to my colleagues on our awards that we'll be getting on Thursday.
Clock that. Trustee Jackson.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep it brief because the game about to come out.
The realness.
No, I did talk to Dr. Edmondson on Saturday, and one thing that I wanted to know is how can we implement something like Book It? I'm old enough to remember that. A lot of people I say that to aren't, but I wanted to focus. I explain it real quick, but I wanted to focus it on the 3rd through 5th grade. So basically, it's like if you read a book, you get like you used to go to Pizza Hut and get a personal pan pizza for free based on the amount of books you read. And I think we should bring something like that back, possibly focus on the 3rd through the 5th grade. That's where we find a lot of problems with literacy, and then we can kind of build it as an upper elementary thing since we are not going to the K through 6. So 3rd through 5th, upper elementary, you have something to look forward to. We just need to do something to get our literacy back on track. That will definitely bring people back to the district when we start putting out these kids who can read on and above grade level, and that's kind of what we need to strive for. So I was just interested in trying to put something like that together.
So if I can just, when I was a Barth Bear in 3rd grade, a limousine came to pick me up because I did win the Book It back then, and they swooped me up to McDonald's. This was back when they had the Hamburglar, and it looked like, Man, I thought I was just picked me up in front of the school, took me like VIP style, so I definitely concur with that. Thank you, Trustee Jackson. I also will get the picture because I know Dr. Edmondson is hating, talking about,
District
you know I will
resources.
pull out a
District
receipt.
resources for a limo.
Hey, we had the money back then. Vice President, you sure? Okay, Trustee Powles.
Yes. So one question I have, and I told Dr. Edmondson I was going to be asking, is about the superintendent evaluation. Has there been any discussion as to a date?
Well, for full transparency, there have been some communications, but nothing set in stone, so we will make sure that that is the priority to come out to get that going. Dr. Edmondson?
I know we have to by law have it done by June 30.
Oh, yeah.
And ideally, we would have it by March 30, but we can just keep that in mind for next year because I know his contract automatically rolls over, but it would be good for it to roll over because we did an evaluation and said yes, and we make the public statement that yes, we want him here for another year, as opposed to, we forgot, so we.
Yeah, we definitely kind of like in the same boat as last year, and I'll take accountability for that. And I'd have talked to Penny and a couple of people from MASB. We are, I will say, in good, bad company because we're not the only district, but
Right.
we'll make sure that we're in legal compliance to get that done. And I know that you have also been talking about your goals kind of with this board member, that board member. So we'll just get the presentation, get it in the books, and make sure we're legal.
And then maybe when we do this evaluation, if we can schedule ahead for his mid-review, so we're not, because that's unfair to not touch base with him and let him know.
Oh, we've been touching base.
I mean, like formally, so.
Through email, documentation.
And a B minus isn't all bad. You'd get to
Oh,
go
I
on
mean,
this,
that's
you'd get
the-
to go
I
to
mean,
Cedar
that's- I
Point with
mean-
that.
B minus.
But
We
yes,
should have had a mid-year
Trustee
review
Powles,
on that one.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Got it.
and then the other thing, Dr. Edmondson, I've told you this privately, but I want to say publicly, thank you for all the work you're putting into transforming the middle school and making the middle school a better place for our students and where students can actually accomplish more. Thank you for your efforts, even with the remodeling there. I know that there were talks about how when we had STEAM and SIL, how there was at least a perception, if not more, of inequity because of what, the STEAM was this elite group and everything was redone on the second floor. And the first floor, it was old and it was tired. And so thank you for investing funds into making that first floor a place that feels good to learn as well. That's appreciated.
Thank you, Jason.
It's this one.
That's why you got
I love this board because I can have fun. And I mean that. I can have fun. If I was somewhere else, it'd probably be stiff and I'd be so quick to get out of there. But I love this board and I love my job.
Hold on, I didn't announce you yet. 1 second. Are you done, Trustee Powles? Take your time. Okay. Now you, Dr. Edmondson.
Okay. So first, congratulations to Trustee Jackson, who's had his cast removed. I can see that. So I apologize, and I hope your daughter's not mad with me. She's looking mean, mugging me like, you did that to my dad. I'm sorry. I am really sorry. Next year, yeah. Right, okay. So I feel good about that. Thank you. Whew, man, I can go to sleep now. To what Trustee Powell said, the sixth grade is going to have its own floor. I'm excited about next year for the middle school because I know what I'm going to do. Not everybody else. I know what I'm going to do. So I'm very excited about that and them having their own floor. I've been to 3 schools already talking to kids. Somebody has to be excited. Some adult has to be excited, and that's me. I don't know about everybody else because I don't see what they do, but I can tell you what I do. I'm excited about what we're going to do at the middle school, giving options and things like that, having them on one floor, some other things that we're doing. So I'm very excited about that, and I'll reveal more as we go. But if we're not going to be able to sell our district, then guess what? Nobody's going to buy what you selling. If you're not, you don't even know what you're selling. So that's going to come. Yeah, absolutely. I'll leave that alone. I need you to know that normally I communicate with our families through an in-touch system. It's a system where I would send out an email, everybody gets it. If you haven't noticed, you haven't gotten them because the person that put together, the owner died. So the company is done. They just sent us, all of us in the country, got an email that said that we're no longer doing business. So that has had Adam Dennison and his team, David, they worked for a whole week on finding a right company, and we have a company. It costs a little bit more, and that's okay for what we're going to get. It's called Parent Square, okay? A lot of districts are using it. They say it's a game changer. I've talked to superintendents, game changer. So I'm going to have to talk to parents and teachers. We're not going to be doing Class Dojo anymore. That's going to go away. If we spend the money, then we use the product, correct? You spend the money, we use the product. It's coming next year. I'm going to teach people how to use it. It's a two-way communication system, and I'm very excited about that. But I need you to know I haven't been able to put anything out because we don't have the program. I'm not comfortable yet to even put something out, so that's coming. And the last thing is I was pretty excited because my phone just went off, and it was a student who contacted me, which I love, that students feel comfortable contacting me, asking about summer internships. That's something that we need to sell in our district, that we allow our students to work for us and with us to learn a trade or a skill, not a trade necessarily, but a skill, working in maintenance, custodian, working for our teachers, not our teacher cadet program, but our teacher cadet students will be able to work in our summer school. So we have some programs and we have some things that we probably don't even sell to our own community, that we allow students to work for us. And now our culinary students will be doing if they agree, they'll be doing our Birdies for Eagles. So again, there's a lot of things that we do in this district. We just probably don't do enough telling people about them, or sometimes people take it for granted. But I like the students feel comfortable. They know it's about right now when I'll start to put out the email, okay, and I tell them, don't want any, you got a bad attitude, you don't come to school, don't even think about it. Don't waste your time, because you're not going to waste mine. So I'm just very excited. And to the president, we have a relationship where I can joke, and the board, you know, when I'm serious, I'm serious. But there's also a time where you have to have the rapport of the relationship to be able to joke and laugh at a B-, because y'all know I'm not a B-, but I'm going to leave that alone. Okay, we all know that. Not a B-.
What did
But
you
I
tell
thank
me?
you for
You
that.
gave me some advice one time. You said you can't tell somebody how.
That's right.
Yeah, so you can't
No.
tell me.
See,
Block that.
but you have
Trust
to
me.
understand.
Whoa.
That's what I say to you.
And that's what I'm saying to you, B-.
No, I say nobody can say how good they are.
Okay,
Somebody else
moving
has to
right
say that. So
along.
thank you so much. I appreciate this board. I'm looking forward to our next meeting in May. Be safe in your travels. And please, as much as you can, go on out and sell our district. Thank you.
Motion to adjourn. All in favor? Aye. 7:47.
Kevin Broad.